Hello. Okay, so I feel like I have a brain full to share with you guys. It's a lot, but I guess I just want to be real and like share with you guys where we're at as a family and just like our life and yeah, be real. And I kind of was not really challenged on purpose to do this because the people who challenged me didn't even realize. They were like a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. So, with kids, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have kind of noticed and probably been in a position where kids' simple innocence and just like the wisdom that they have in their little brains is so real and like just it can be life-changing. So for example, while we were on our way back from Florida from the Plexus convention, a little girl came up to us while we were in the ice cream line getting ice cream and at the airport, and she just started talking, just hi, gave us her name. I'm 6 and I was just at Disney, and like she showed us her toys at Disney that she got, and just like she was so friendly and she would just put herself out there and she just wanted to make friends and be real and like just make people laugh. Like she was so sweet, and I was like, oh, why can't we do that? What is the difference between her and me? And then same with my daughter, Kaylee. She is 5, and the other day I had picked up my phone and was going through pictures at the end of the day because that's just what I do. I go through pictures and kind of just reminisce about the moments and fun things of life. I'm sorry if I'm like moving around too much. I'm trying to swat away the mosquitoes because there's so many mosquitoes out here. Anyway, so I was going through pictures and videos of the day, and I came across like 27 or something like that. Random videos and pictures of when the kids were just sitting in the car waiting. I had run into the post office in town, and the kids, I gave them my phone to play with because I can put the airplane mode on and then they can play games. And she took like a whole bunch of like random videos, and just she's also my little Plexus legacy girl because she pretends that she's talking with her friends about Plexus and just like, hi, I just wanted to talk to you about how Plexus will help with everything that you have, and that like it regulates your blood sugar, and like just in her like simple little innocent way of saying these things. It is the cutest, guys. It's so cute. And it really makes me smile and it also makes me think like what I do. She's watching what I do. Our kids watch what we do, and they will do the things that we do. It is, what's that quote? About like how your kids just really they just watch what you do, and that's what who you're around, that's what you're gonna be like, or something. I guess it's more for friends. Anyways, side note. So I watched all the videos that she did, and just like she was just being real. And so these two little girls, without even realizing it, challenged me to do the same, to be real and just, I don't know, because I guess the thing that I desire most in life, I guess, is to be relatable, to build relationships, and to grow in friendships. Like that is my biggest thing. And as I grow, like as I have gotten older, it's so much harder to do because, listen, y'all, listen, it's pride. I am so just thinking of myself and like, well, what will people think of me if I say this, or if I'm real in this way, like, oh, I don't want people to think bad of me, and like, it's scary. It is so scary, and it probably doesn't even need to be, but it's the pride that holds us back. It's the pride that's holding me back from actually like reaching out and being vulnerable and being real. Like, that's pride, you guys, and it's hard to overcome. So that's like, ugh, that's why I want to make this video, and I'm not gonna cry. But there's like a lot of, I don't even know like where to start with life. I guess like there's a lot just from my wonderful, crazy childhood, growing up as the oldest of 13 kids. Like that's pretty crazy. We were all homeschooled, which is cool. My mom is a rock star. Of course she's had her flaws, but I think the most beautiful thing about it, like as we talk now, as I'm a mom and she's a mom, and we can sit down and have these conversations, like she's like, I messed up as a mom in so many ways, but I have peace in knowing that like God is in control of it all, and look at where he has taken my kids. Like, it was really cool. I had a really good conversation with her the other day, and it was really, really good. She really encouraged me as a mom to not be fearful and like afraid of choices, I guess, that I make, as long as I'm following God's will and like focusing on him and just understanding and loving and always learning and wanting to grow. Like, in doing those things, there's probably going to be stuff that I look back and I'm like, oh man, really? Did I really do that? But to live, I guess, with with no regrets. Like, take your mistakes and learn from them. It was a really good conversation. Anyway, so like I could talk all about that childhood and all of that, but I kind of want to start more where like a lot of you, my friends here, can relate with, and that's just the beginnings of a new life, I guess. After Xavier and I got married, like, and I was thinking back on this too, like 7 years, we have been through so much, y'all. Like, there's a lot packed into those 7 years. 7 years? 7 years. It's crazy, right? Oh no. Xavier, what if you're watching this and you're like, actually, it's not 7 years, just a second. We were married in 2011, 12, 7 years this year. Anyway, math, it's my strong suit. So after we got married, we moved back to McBain. So I was living at some family's house in Grand Rapids. No, actually we were at camp. Anyway, I was at some family's house in Grand Rapids, and Xavier was doing school, and then he went to Africa, and then we worked at a kids camp, Spring Hill camp together. So much fun. And then we got married, and then we moved back to McBain, and we started renting our first house. And during that time, Xavier kind of just started figuring out more of like, oh my goodness, this man, guys, you need to find a man like this. He is determined and dedicated, and when he sees something that needs to be done, like, he will get it done, and he'll do it right, which is really good for both of us, because I like to get stuff done, and if it's not quite like the forts that I made as a kid compared to the forts that he probably made as a kid, they were there and we could play in them, my siblings and I, but they might have not been like perfectly structurally sound. Whereas in his forts probably would have been like to perfection. So that is the difference. And so where I am good at like getting a job done quick and like, for the most part, time management for the most part, he's really good at making sure the details are right. So even back when we were first very like newlyweds in our little rental house, he decided that he was going to go to school for business and get his degree. So he took accelerated courses and worked a full-time job at a farm while doing these accelerated classes. So like getting it done double time and just winning at life. It was so good. It was a lot though. I also had a job in Cadillac, and there were some nights where he was like after work he would take a nap, and then he'd go back to work and like do school, and then like he'd be up really late doing school. And so there was times like in the afternoons where I just want to talk to him because we're finally together, like living together because we're married, and I could talk to you all the time. And he was like, Aim, I really got to get this school done. And so I would go and hang out with my family, and it was good. So that was like the first year of our life. And then we started talking about kids and just like what is God going to do with our life with kids. And so we started praying about having kids, and it was I'm not gonna cry. It was hard to just figure out like those next steps of growing our family. And it was a little bit harder than we had thought to actually get pregnant. So we prayed about that a lot and just kind of not like reevaluated, like where does God want us at this time? What like family does like is it the time to have a family, to start a family? And so yeah, just a lot of prayer through all of that, and a lot of prayer that we would actually like be able to get pregnant and have kids. We learned a lot through that time for sure. And then we were super excited when we finally did get pregnant with our first. And pregnancy was like the beginning of pregnancy was I had a little bit sick in the beginning, which I didn't really realize like that was related to pregnancy. Like no throwing up or anything, like the first month or so, like I was just like nauseous and stuff. But it wasn't bad, like it was fine. And then I decided, like we talked, and just figured out like, okay, we're pregnant, we're having a baby, we're going to be super healthy, and I'm going to be a vegan. So like we just looked into, healthy eating and healthy living, and like we wanted to make sure that we were the healthiest for our kids and like starting this new family. And so we did, a lot of like vegan eating and very healthy, and just kind of went maybe a little bit overboard. Not really. But it was good. We learned a lot. Then we had Kaylee. We bought a house in there. Oh my goodness. So we bought our first house. I think Xavier was done with school. Maybe just finishing school. Anyway. So we decided to buy a house instead of rent a house. And so we found a house in McBain, which a friend actually let us know as we were house searching that their grandma was selling their house. And so we got our first cute little house in McBain. It was so much fun. And so, and then we had Kaylee. We did home birth. And it went very, very smoothly. We did a lot of prayer, like researching and figuring out, like, is this what we want to do for having kids? Talked to my mom a lot. And so we decided to do home birth, and it went really smooth. No complications or anything. And we had our little baby girl. It was so sweet. And then life with a newborn was very exciting, and we like had to learn a lot through there. She had not like health problems. She spit up a lot. She's very, very tiny, and I had to be very careful. We were still really careful about what we ate. There was some that didn't eat meat or grains, or eggs, I had grains. I didn't have gluten, dairy. I didn't do dairy. So, just, she had a lot of spitting up, and anytime like I tried to eat something new, oh, look here. Huh. Baby spit up. Mom life. Anyway, anytime I tried to eat something new, like she would just get really sick and her stomach would like just, it was not fun. She had a lot of food sensitivities. There we go. So figuring out like how to balance all of that and like eat the right things, and then when she started eating, feeding her the right things, and so that was a little bit more than we had bargained for. And then we started Agape School. Xavier saw a need that needed to be fulfilled in the area, in Cadillac area, with nurse aides, so certified nurse assistants. And it kind of goes back to just growing up with his dad as a quadriplegic, and so he learned a lot about the difference between proper, like, selfless care, people who saw his dad as a person, as a dad, as a son, as a husband, like as a person, instead of just like a checklist. And so he wanted to provide training that taught people who wanted to become CNAs how to selflessly care for people. So it's a allied health training school in Cadillac, and now it's in Traverse City, and like there's Gaylord and Frankfurt and a few others that we're working on. That's definitely grown. We start out with just Cadillac and like one class and one teacher. And so just figuring out like all of that, he spent so many hours just pouring into that. That was his passion. Like he is one of the most selfless and caring men that I know, very humble and like wanting to serve the community. And as a new family figuring all of this out, like we spent a lot of time just doing all of that together. It was really cool. Now it's grown. God has definitely grown it. It is now a nonprofit ministry. Do a lot with just talking about God and praying and doing devotions and classes and stuff. It's really cool. I know that it's changed so many lives, and it's been amazing to see that. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot. There is so much packed into just all of that, like seeing it grow, hoping it to grow, learning like who we are through that. And so yeah, there's more, like he's worked on more classes to offer more classes, so to be more involved in the community, like home health aid and CPR and first aid and pharmacy tech and EMT, and it's grown a lot. So and then we had our second child somewhere in there during that time. A little boy, and we also had a home birth for him. That pregnancy was a little bit harder. I was definitely a lot more tired during that one. A lot, like, yeah. And it took me a long time to kind of like bounce back from that, like lose the baby weight and feel confident about who I was as a mom of two. And this is where it gets like really real. I really needed more like just support from other moms who've been like going through the same thing. Like that was all in a few years. Getting married, buying a new house, having a baby, starting a business. Like there's a lot. And I love that Xavier was there through it all, every step of the way. He is my rock for sure. So life with 2 kids. And then there was, like, we went through just a lot of change during that time as well. We ended up moving into Xavier's parents' house. And they moved out to Nicaragua for a little while, and then they moved back. And so we all got to be together, 3 generational living. It was so wild, and we learned so much through all of that. It was really, really cool. The kids got to see their grandparents every day, and just we got to learn from them. Like, it was cool to be able to learn from somebody who's been through that stage of life before. And then, so yeah, God definitely taught us a lot through that time, and during that time the school was still growing. And then we started talking about growing our family to 5. And that was a little, I don't know, I was very excited because that recovery, I guess, from having Micah was a little bit harder than I had thought. Not recovery, but just like bouncing back, being confident with my body image again, and which is like a real thing for women. Figuring out like finances, and are we going to do this? Like, we're living with in-laws and talking about growing our family. Like, there was a lot of conversation and all of that, and I was just very unsure about if this was the right time. So we did a lot of praying and decided that, okay, like, let's do this. And it took a long time to get pregnant with our 3rd now. And I learned a lot through that. Like, I learned a lot about trying to control everything and needing to give that control up. Like, there were so many things that I wanted to control. And so just trusting God in all of that. So when we did get pregnant with our 3rd, with Gemma, we were still just growing and learning. We had been going back and forth to Nicaragua. We had found a new church body during that time, which has been so cool. Like, we've gained some really, really close friends who've walked with us through so much. We've been able to walk with them through so much, and just God has been so real in it all. And then throughout that pregnancy with our 3rd, with Gemma, I noticed that, like, I was tired a lot. I would take a lot of naps and cry a lot. And I wasn't, like, I could have fun with the kids, but there was, like, a time in the day where I was just done. Like, I was tired, and I was questioning whether or not this was the right choice for our family, because if this is how it's going to be, like, how can I be a good mom? There's been multiple times through this video where I have second-guessed myself and stopping and starting over so I wouldn't be crying in front of my friends. But it's okay. Because this is what real life is. And we are in this all together. So, figuring out who I was as a mom again. And we had decided to homeschool our kids. And so figuring out homeschooling and learning, like, how to do it differently and make sure that our kids are well taught and all of that. Like, there's so much, guys. Life is so full and so good, and you learn so much if you are willing to learn. And so finances were really hard in all of this. Like, just a lot of, like, conversation with just Xavier and I, figuring out, like, okay, what do we do? So we started looking for a house, and praying about like moving, and we did not have money to move, but we know we needed to, like we were growing a family, and like it was just blah blah blah. So just figuring out like, okay, how can I help the family? Like, how can I do something rather than just sit there and like be tired and cry? And I want to be a good mom and a good wife and a good friend. So, and during that time, I had started hearing more about plexus and what plexus was, and I thought, oh my goodness, you guys, this is like a whole nother story. So I was the person who would sit and talk about how ridiculous plexus was in network marketing, and I can't believe like there's these people who try to sell us this stuff, and like I don't need this, I am healthy and I don't need to lose weight. And that's what I thought it was. I thought it was just all about weight loss and some shake, and that tasted bad. Oh, I would just talk so bad about it. And I, like, looking back now, how just, I was so uneducated on it all. Like, here I am talking about something that I know so little about and talking so bad about it. So, I reached out to a friend who 2 years earlier had asked me if I wanted to try plexus, and she thought that I would really love it. And I was like, no, are you kidding me? First of all, I don't need that. I am fine. Second of all, that stuff's crazy. And third of all, you think I'm going to pay for that? And a year later, she asked me again, and I was like, no. Look at my last message. And so finally, like, this is when I reached out to her and was like, we need help. I need to talk to you about this, and I'm not going to buy it, but I just want to talk to you about it. And she was like, okay, let's go for coffee. So we met for coffee, and we talked about it, and I went home, and I was like, babe, what if this is the answer to our prayers? Like, what if this is a way that I can help our family with our finances, with our health, with me not feeling good, being tired all the time and just exhausted and anxious and just bleh, and I can help others? Like, what if this is the answer to our prayers? And he's like, okay, well, let's pray about it. So we did for like 2 or 3 days, and I called her back and I was like, okay, I think we're gonna do this, because I have looked into these products and I see that they're good quality, and I have read so many testimonies of how this has helped people with so many things. Guys, gut health is the root to so many problems. Like, go and look it up. Did a lot of research on just what plexus was with the prebiotics and probiotics and balancing blood sugar, and is this too much, or is this like enough, and is it good for us, and does it like help with all these things for real, multivitamins and omegas, and like so much research. And so I was like, okay, I want to do this, but we have no money. Literally, I do not have money to even start this up. We have less than that in our bank account. So what am I going to do? She's like, okay, well, I encourage you to pray about this. I know this is going to help your family, and you just, like, this is something that you have to put your mind to. And I was like, okay, deal. So we put it on the credit card, which is something that we never do because debt-free, people. And but we had no money, and I knew this was like going to be an investment, and we needed change. So I did, and we prayed and reached out to people and started talking about it and learning more about it and taking it ourselves. And like within the first within the first week, no joke, I felt different. I was not taking naps all the time. Xavier would come home and he'd be like, wow, you made supper. And I was like, yeah, I feel good. We were still eating good, like drinking the water and being consistent on all of these things. And like, I had energy to exercise, and I had ambition to. And I noticed that like just so much started changing with our family and our kids, and it was good. Like, it was a good change. And so I was passionate about reaching out to others. And within the first month, 30 days, we had our products paid for already, plus some. And it kept growing from there. And every month, like, we'd get 5 paychecks a month from Plexus. And there's every month, like, when I would open that first big paycheck from Plexus, like, I would start crying because I was like, I'm doing this. Like, I am able to make a difference in our life, with our health, with our finances. There's other people that their lives are changing because they're feeling better, because they can help with their finances. Like, this is real. And the community that I gained from that blew me away, you guys. Like, I had no idea. Like, I thought it might help me feel better. I need energy as a mom. I was like, that's why I'm going to do it. And we need money, because if we're going to buy a house and we're going to, like, start doing something, I need a way to actually help, because I see how burdened Xavier is with the finances only on him. Like, I know I can do something. So to be able to give that to other people and, like, walk with them and see other people and gain a community, like,